Hey, welcome to Making Judgments Day 1. Let's start off with our learning targets. You will, not we or we, recognize a judgment in and make a judgment about a picture. Okay, so we're going to look at our poster, which we do on pretty much every day one, and you're going to identify what judgment is being made in the poster, and then you will make one on your own. All right, you will identify details that support both of those judgments. You will ask questions about a picture and then use academic sentence frames to discuss strategies. And those sentence frames are in your handout, okay? Making judgments. So let's delve a little bit deeper into the strategy. Okay, first off, a judgment is a decision we make about people, events, or ideas. A judgment is based on evidence, the details in what we see or read, and our own knowledge and experiences. Okay, we make judgments all the time. That's what we do. Oh, that outfit's horrible. Oh, what did you do with your hair? Oh, that's so cute, and all those things. Okay, and we base those on stuff that we already know. It's kind of like our inferencing. Okay, we read and we see things, and then we combine it with other information, our own past experiences and our own knowledge, to come up with what the author is saying. Well, in this case, we take all that information and we make a judgment in terms of whether we think something is right, or we think something is wrong, or we think someone is nice, or we think someone is mean. Now, recognizing an author's judgment helps you understand the author's viewpoint and ideas. All right? And making judgments while reading helps you evaluate the validity of an author's argument, as well as clarify and strengthen your own ideas and viewpoints. Now, generally, when we're talking about making judgments and we're talking about really looking at the author's viewpoint and ideas, we're going to be focusing mostly on nonfiction text. And the fiction text, if we look at it, and I'm trying to look through the rest of what we're going to be working with, it's very limited. But most of what we're going to be working with, especially when we start talking about the validity of an author's argument, that's very much focusing on something that's nonfiction. All right? So let's talk a little bit. I recently read a newspaper article about older buildings in some cities that are in danger of being torn down. It said these buildings are an important part of our history, and once they're gone, they can't be replaced. I know that other cities have laws to protect historic buildings. All cities should have laws like these. What I'd like you to do right now is pause the video, and I'd like you to just answer that first question on the Unit 10, Week 1, Day 1 handout. What is my idea for protecting historic city buildings? And why did I come up with this idea? So pause the video, answer that question, and then when you have it answered, restart the video. Welcome back. Hopefully you came up with an answer. And here's kind of how I would explain it. I decided all cities should have laws to protect historic buildings. I based this decision or judgment on facts I read and know. Many of these buildings are in danger of being torn down. They are part of our history and cannot be replaced. Some cities already have laws against destroying such buildings. When you talk to people, you often make a judgment. You state a decision and you give evidence that supports that decision. Writers do this too. Good readers know how to recognize authors' judgments in fiction and nonfiction texts, and also how to make their own judgments about the text. We're going to practice recognizing and making judgments this week. All right, so I've got a video here, and this is from Britain's Got Talent. It's a reality TV show in Britain. But I want you to watch the reaction of the people to this woman. And this woman is named Susan Boyle. And I want you to think right now, what is your reaction to this individual? Okay? And I want you to see the audience's reaction to this individual, and then see how that changes from the beginning to the end. And it's a very good example of making judgments. All right?
All right, what's your name, darling?
My name is Susan Boyle.
Okay, Susan, where are you from?
I am from Blackburn near Bathgate, West Lothian.
It's a big town.
It's a sort of collection of. It's a collection of villages. Had to think there.
And how old are you, Susan?
I am 47. And that's just one side of me.
Okay, what's the dream?
I'm trying to be a professional singer.
And why hasn't it worked out so far, Susan?
I've never been given the chance before, but here's hoping it'll change.
Okay, and who would you like to be as successful as?
Elaine Page. something
Elaine
like
Page.
that.
What are you going to sing tonight?
I'm going to sing I Dreamed a Dream from the Miserables.
Okay, big song.
Yeah? Yeah.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by.
You didn't expect that, did you? Did you? No.
I dreamed that love would never I was young and unafraid. When dreams are made and used and wasted, and those that lost to be made. No sun and sun, no wine untasted. But the tigers come with their voices soft as thunder, as they tear your hopes apart, as they turn your dreams to shame. Still I dream it come to me. And we will rise together. But there are dreams which cannot be, and there are storms we cannot weather. I had a dream like what could be, so different from the still I'm living, so different now from what it seems. Now life has killed the dream I dreamed.
Hello.
Hey, come back here. Today.
All right. Thank you very much, Susan. Piers.
Without a doubt, that was the biggest surprise I have had in 3 years of this show. When you stood there with that cheeky grin and said, I want to be like Elaine Page, everyone was laughing at you. No one is laughing now. That was stunning. An incredible performance. Amazing. I'm reeling from shock about you two, but
I am
Can't
so
believe it.
thrilled because I know that everybody was against you. I honestly think that we were all being very cynical, and I think that's the biggest wake-up call ever. And I just want to say that it was a complete privilege listening to that. It was inspired brilliant.
Susan, I knew the minute you walked out
Oh, Simon!
on that stage that we were going to hear something extraordinary, and I was right.
not a lot of touch.
Susan, you are a little tiger, aren't you?
I don't know about that.
You
I
are.
don't know about that.
Okay, moment of truth. Here's yes or no.
the biggest yes I have ever given anybody.
Amanda?
Yes, definitely. Brilliant.
Susan Boyle, you can go back to the village with your head held high. It's 3 yeses.
Now that was an example of just how people just make judgments, and they made a judgment about her, and granted, you probably didn't like the song, but that was a very good version of that song, and you saw how people changed from the beginning to the end, to the point where one of the judges, Pearson, that was the biggest surprise, that he was expecting something different, and she really, did a great job. So just an example of how we make judgments and how sometimes our judgments are wrong. Okay, so let's look at today's poster today. Oops, I cut off the top of our letters. It should say safety in sports, but yours should be okay. All right, now when I look at this picture, the first thing I need to figure out is what it's trying to show me. One way I can do this is by asking myself questions. I ask questions to make things clearer in my mind. Let me show you how I do it. Okay, the picture shows 2 baseball players. Okay, there's 1 and 2, and an umpire involved in a play at home base. Okay, and it shouldn't be home base. It should say home plate. I ask myself, what is each player trying to do? What is the umpire's decision or judgment? Asking and answering questions such as these will help me understand what is happening in this picture. Okay, so I have 2 questions, and the first one is what is each player trying to do? And then the other one is, what is the umpire's decision or judgment? So what I want you to do is I want you to think about that, okay? And the first question is, well, the runner is trying to score, okay? And the catcher in this case is trying to get the runner out, all right? And the umpire is making a decision, all right? Now, if you know about sports and you know about baseball or softball, as it might be, when the umpire does this with their hands, that means that they are safe. Okay, so my question is, which means that the runner scored, the runner touched the plate before the catcher touched them with the glove. So what I'd like you to do is take some time, and what information supports this. So I want you to fill out the judgment I make is the umpire correct? The judgment I make is the umpire correct or the umpire's incorrect? And then what evidence do you have to support that? So why don't you fill out those 2 spots, pause the video, fill out those 2 spots in your handout, and then when you're ready, you may restart. All right, 5th graders. Hopefully you came up with whether you believe the runner is safe or out, whether you agree with the umpire or you do not agree with the umpire. I want you to take some time then when we're done with the video and answer the rest of the questions on Unit 10, Week 1, Day 1. But to finish up, let's look at our final slide, which is, this is the academic words sentence starters for you, sentence frames. But then making judgments, remember, a judgment is a decision we make about people, events, or ideas. It's based on evidence, details on what we see or read or hear, or any of our senses really, and then our own knowledge and experiences. Recognizing an author's judgments helps you understand the author's viewpoint and ideas. And then finally, making judgments while reading helps you evaluate the validity of an author's argument, as well as it helps clarify and strengthen your own ideas and viewpoints. All right, that's all I got for you. Don't forget, answer the 3 questions. And remember, you can look for judgments in and make judgments about a text too. Tomorrow, we will practice using a text to recognize and make judgments. All right, that's all we got. Bye.